Hey, fam. This is Leslie from Wine Lovers Wednesday. Since it's Wednesday, it has to be Wine Lovers Wednesday. I'm so happy to have you here. We are 2 weeks going consecutive, and I'm really excited. And I am excited to introduce our guest, Stephanie Franklin.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on.
Not a problem. And Stephanie is from Franklin Vines. And when we posted in our social media networks on our platforms, we put in that you are from Texas and that Texas is the fifth largest growing region. And people put comments like, wow, didn't know that. Couldn't believe it.
No
So
one ever knows.
right. So we're going to all of those people who are like, what? Texas does more than have an awful football team named the Cowboys. Sorry about that. Just had to add that in there. Um, but yes, Texas has wine. Texas actually has a lot of wine. So if you have questions about Texas wine, please put it in the chat. Please put in the chat hello, so we can shout you out and ask your questions. And so, Stephanie, I'm going to stop talking for a second, and please introduce yourself to the Wine Lovers family.
Absolutely. Hello. Again, I'm Stephanie Franklin. I am the creator of Franklin Vines. I was always a wine consumer, and I decided to pivot over into the wine industry and kind of do what I love. It's I have a crazy journey about how I got into wine. So I don't know where you want me to start.
Oh,
So
we want to hear about the journey. We
okay,
love
all right,
hearing the backstory.
all right. So the backstory. Let's see. I worked in corporate sales marketing for years. Even made the switch over from corporate, and I went over to nonprofit. Worked
Okay.
nonprofit for about 5 years, and then from there, I just wasn't fulfilled. And a friend of mine was like, figure out what you love and do that. And I'm like, you know, I love
Right,
food
right.
and wine, but what can I possibly do with food and wine? So I researched food first, like the industry, like what kind of
Mhm.
jobs can I have, or what kind of
Right.
career can I have, and wasn't interested. So I moved over to wine, and I saw how broad the wine world was, and I'm like, wow, I think that this could be it. So,
Mhm.
not knowing exactly what I wanted to do in wine, I found out that we had a Texas wine school in Houston. And so I quickly enrolled in WSET 1, right? And I was so excited to get to class and learn all about wine. We tasted wine, and it was amazing class. Quickly enrolled in WSET 2. Boom. Jumped
Okay.
in right away. Like the next class that they had, I jumped right in, and just like it was amazing. We tasted even more wine. The um, learning about wine, went into more depth. Like it was more like time consuming. Like I had
Right.
to
Mhm.
study hard and enjoy that. Quickly enrolled in WSET 3, right? So still not knowing exactly what I wanted to do in wine. I just knew that I enjoyed learning, right? So did WSET set 3, which I have not passed yet. So
Okay.
I plan to retake that test before the end of the year. So after studying WSET 3, that's when this passion came, and I'm like, I want to make wine. I want to be a winemaker, and I want to plant a vineyard. So it happened during the course of WSET 3. And I started to do research, and I'm like, wow, this is expensive, and I don't have the capital to do this, but I wasn't scared. And I just knew somehow that something would, I don't know, I'll meet the right person, or something would fall into place to where I can make this big dream come true. Like I have a huge, like this is a huge dream. Like this is larger than me wanting to be an actor and running over to New York and thinking I was going to be a big movie star. Like planting the vineyard and all of this. Like this is like huge, and I'm trying to piece together the puzzle. So I feel like ever since I had like this passion grew stronger,
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like the universe kind of like it's like it was moving in my direction. Like things were starting to happen for me. So I kind of want to jump into an internship. So I did in Texas, my first Texas internship with Bending Branch Winery. So I interned with them July of last year, but there's a little back end to the story.
Oh,
I
can I ask you a
actually,
question?
yes.
Okay. So when you decided, when you were inspired to say, okay, I'm going to make wine and I want to own my own vineyard, had you started to make wine?
No. Uh,
Okay.
mm,
Okay.
mm.
Had you seen the process of making wine?
Not at that time. No,
Okay.
I had only
Okay.
studied it. I was only, but we were only talking about it.
Right.
I
Right. Right.
hadn't
Right.
seen the process or anything. No, no.
And for those who have not taken any of the WESAT, which is the Wine, Spirits, and Education Trust,
Mhm.
if you haven't taken those classes, most of it is on, I like to call wine theory,
Yes.
because it's more about the regions,
Mhm.
which grapes come from there, the terroir.
Yes.
I have not taken my three. I've only taken the two.
Okay.
But they don't talk a lot about like the harvest process, the
Mhm.
planting, or what have you. So I'm just intrigued where you were like, nope, I'm gonna grow some grapes without
Crazy girl.
sight unseen. You were like, I'm getting a
Right.
vineyard.
Right.
Okay.
So, I remember a friend of mine in wine. She reached out and she wanted to know how the wine journey was going, and I said, "Good."
Hmm.
You know, I'm like, I kind of want to like shadow a winemaker, and so she encouraged me to reach out to Dr. Bob of Benny Branch Winery, right?
Okay.
And so she was like, I at the time I had heard of Benny Branch, but I didn't know a lot about it. So of course, I went online, did some research, and I'm like, oh wow, and looking at all of their accomplishments, and so I reached
And
out
where
to Dr.
and oh, I'm sorry. And where are they located?
in Comfort, Texas, which is about 40 miles outside of San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Which is it like that is starting or like in the area of a big wine region in that
Yes,
area.
that
Yes.
is the
Mhm.
Texas hill country.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to Dr. Bob on Facebook,
Okay.
and I just sent like, "Hello, I was referred to you by a friend, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain. I'm an aspiring winemaker and want to plant a vineyard, and I would love to talk to you."
Okay.
Just thinking he would send back a few sentences or whatever, and we actually had a phone call, in-depth phone call, and he wanted to learn more about me.
Mm-hmm.
Shared but what they were doing over there. Long story short, that led me to going out to Bending Branch to talk about an internship.
Okay.
Wow, like I was so excited. I'm like, I have an opportunity to go out here and potentially get an internship.
There you go.
And I'm like, this could make or break me. Either I'm gonna love it or I'm gonna be like, okay, this is not what I expected.
Uh-huh.
So I went over, drove up, and met the Benny Branch team, and it was so amazing. Like I did the whole tour. They have like one of the most amazing views, and so I tasted the wine, and I'm like, the wines are amazing, and and just the whole experience was great. I think a few weeks later, I got a call or an email, I think, and saying that I got the internship. my nerves
Wow.
my nerves set in. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I quickly tried to find a place to stay, and weeks later I packed my little small car, drove up to Comfort, and my internship began from July 9th through mid-October. So I was living in a small town, and I had a cottage that I was renting, and every day I would go to the
Wow.
winery, and I was like hands on, like helping make wine and seeing it from the beginning from where the trucks were coming in with the
Mm-hmm.
grapes, and I'm standing there so eager, like waiting. I was taking pictures. I was trying to capture everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember tasting all the grapes that came off the truck, and, you know, working with the winemaker and seeing, you know, well, what they do, well, what's the process. And it was that was like an experience of a lifetime. I had never done anything like that.
Yeah.
I know that they were worried that because I didn't have any manual labor experience. And so, but I think I proved myself.
I think so. I think like after the first, because it is a full body workout.
Oh my gosh.
It,
Oh my
it,
gosh. Talk
this,
about the punch downs. And I have some good strong arms.
so you got some guns
all
now.
Of the punch downs that we were doing. it was hard work. That was by far the most, I don't even know the word, that was challenging. It was hard. Like every evening I was sore from my head down to my toes every evening. But the next morning, I showed up and I was ready. I was like, okay, well, what's next? And
So
and there were there were nights where we would, like during harvest, we would work midnight.
mm-hmm.
You know, but once you start, you know, you gotta finish. And
yes.
It's like we all kind of got together, and, you know, if we were short-handed or if someone wasn't there that day, like the Benny Branch team, like we pulled together and we made it happen. And at the end of the day, it was like, okay, let's get ready for the next day.
Well, okay, so let me ask you, because at that time, were you living in Houston?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you said, did you say to your family, guess what? I'm going to just do this little internship. And I'm going to take a sabbatical from my job and go pick grapes and learn how to make wine. What did they say?
Okay, so back up just a tad bit. So okay. I was laid off from my full-time job at the time, October of 2020,
so it worked out.
Due to COVID.
Okay.
And that was my first time being laid off in years. I remember I was laid off in my mid-20s. I was living in New York, and that was for two weeks, right? So I was laid off in October, and I felt I was in such a weird space because I'm a working girl. Like I just, anyway, but it was a blessing in disguise. Little did I know at the time. Yeah, so that allowed me to actually go and experience that amazing process. Yeah, and so, but to answer your question, I don't know that my family and friends fully understood like exactly what I was doing. Like even when I was taking classes at the Texas Wine School, I don't think people knew. Well, what do you do? Are you drinking wine all night? And what, like, no one got it. And so, you know, once I broke it down and I'm like, well, I'll actually be like hands-on, like I'll be doing like a lot of labor intensive work, but working with wine and grapes and everything. And they're like, oh, and you're going to be going, how long? What? So no, I don't think that they could wrap their head around it. And then, you know, I was posting and recording almost everything. And so they were like, oh my gosh, like you're really out there. Like you're doing it.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm here every day.
That, you know, it's funny because I was chatting with my dad about like when I first started my business, and I said to him when I first started, and I had been doing it for maybe a year, maybe not even a year. And I said, why don't you come with me on one of our wine tours? So in my family, my immediate family, they're not big drinkers. They're not big wine drinkers, maybe more spirits or what have you.
Okay.
So he went with me to one of the vineyards, went on the tour, and he was sitting there and he goes, so people just come out here and they just drink wine and they just sit. And I said, yeah. And that's all I can imagine when you're that you react.
I think you're frozen.
Oh, am I? Oh, crap. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So yeah, I mean, what I said was awesome, but I'll repeat it.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. So I was just saying that my dad's immediate reaction, because they're not wine drinkers, was you just sit around and drink wine and that's entertainment. So I can only imagine what your friends were like you're going to actually work to drink the wine.
Yeah.
But that is so exciting. So what was the outcome after the internship?
So, and the story continues. So after the internship, so as it got closer to the time, harvest was kind of coming to an end, and it was such a bittersweet moment. And I actually cried. I'm such a crybaby. Oh, I'm so emotional. Like I didn't want it to end because I'm like, I'm gonna go back to Houston and do what? I got to go back and go get a corporate job. I had my taste and my feel of working in wine, and I wanted more. So not knowing that, not knowing almost 6 months later, I would end up working for Bending Branch Winery as their remote corporate salesperson in Houston.
Outstanding.
I mean, who would have thought? Like, I had no idea. Like, I was literally looking for a job, like after my experience ended, and this position came available, and I was just over the moon. So I work remote in Houston as a corporate sales person. And so I reach out to corporate companies and, tell them all about Bending Branch Wine and talk about the amazing virtual experiences that, that we offer. We ship wine to you, and we can lead, the Bending Branch team will lead a virtual wine tasting with you online. Okay. So we ship all the wines and everything, and you can do this in the comfort of your own home. And so, it's been a really big hit. And so that's what I do out here in Houston. And it's so much fun because I'm working in wine, and for the winery that I interned for, which is amazing. And yeah. Oh, and not to mention, and they're in full support of Franklin Vines.
Excellent.
Yes. So Bending Branch will make my first wines. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. That is excellent.
Yeah.
So what varietals are popular there? So
Bending Branch produces so many wines, but Dr. Bob is like the king of Tannat. Like he championed that grape. And Tannat and his Petit Syrah are like two of my favorite wines. But today I have his Cabernet Sauvignon.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So they do Petit Syrah, Cabs, Mourvedre, Souchal, like Pic Pool Blanc.
Okay, hold on, back up. Say that again. What was the last one?
Pic Pool Blanc.
Okay, so what is that?
So that's a white grape varietal. I had never heard of such a thing in my life until I did the internship, and the grapes were coming over, and I'm like, well, what is this? And I remember actually Dr. Bob standing there, and he said, oh, this is Pic Pool Blanc. And it's a white grape varietal. I think that originated out of France. If anybody is listening, if you can.
How do you spell that? I'm going to put that.
Picpoul. Pic Pool Blanc. And the wine is amazing. It's so refreshing. The acidity is amazing. It's great for like this hot weather that we're having. And it's really nice. A really, really, really nice wine.
I'm putting that in the chat.
And Texas grows it well.
So what makes Texas such a great region to grow grapes?
Well, I think in the past, Texas wines were not, people, thought of Texas wine as what, and the wines aren't great. But I think a lot of the wine makers are really focusing in on the varietals that will thrive with our climate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it and I just want to say that Demetria is watching. So shout out
hi,
to
Demetria.
you.
That's my sister. Happy birthday, sis.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday. We're going to put a happy birthday shout out
Yeah.
to her. So what makes the climate, what makes a terroir? Is it super hot? Is it super dry?
So we have this hot climate, and so obviously, like, we have to grow what our climate, throws at us, right? So I don't know that I'm gonna pick one. I don't know, but I think Texas does make a Pinot Noir. And I was just gonna say, I don't know that we have the climate for it, but I think I've seen Pinot Noir in Texas. But yeah, I mean, I think just a lot of wine makers focus in on what grows well here.
Which is perfect. I mean, that's the best thing. It's the worst when you're trying to grow something, you're trying to be something that is really challenging, and often people just fall short of that. So
absolutely. And I think once you stop comparing regions, with Texas here and Napa Valley, like, we are two total different regions. So you make what's best for your climate, in my opinion. So
yeah, I definitely agree. And it sounds like the grapes that do well are those hardier grapes, those big grapes, like you said, like the Tannat is one of my favorites.
I love Tannat, and Black Spanish is another one, that grows well. Tempranillo.
Just Tempranillo.
Tempranillo is a great one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you said Black Spanish. I'm learning all of these new grapes. I'm going to put this in the chat if anybody's had that before. And I'm assuming it's a red grape.
Yes, it is. And also put Mourvedre.
Oh, okay. Mourvedre. Yes, it's definitely.
Yeah. That's another great one. And I don't know if anybody knows too. Texas grow Cab.
Say that one again.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A Cab. Yeah, definitely. And I've had a Texas Cab, which it's been very good.
Yeah. Well, I have to send you one from Benny Branch.
Definitely. So Texas wine country. So give me like the geographic boundaries. So San Antonio is like up there.
Austin, San Antonio. When you go into the Texas Hill Country, Texas High Plains. You have, it's huge. Fredericksburg. You have Mason, Texas. You have Lubbock. It's far in between. When you pull up the map, it's huge. I believe there's over 300 wineries in Texas, maybe close to 4, and growing. We are growing.
Wow. Wow.
And I hope to be on that list very soon.
Wow. That is so impressive. So now did you establish Franklin Vines after you came back from your trip?
So no. So I established Franklin Vines. Actually, Franklin Vines started out as an Instagram page, and I was just posting my experiences, and I was getting a lot of feedback from it. And then after I studied WSET 3,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of had an idea about what I wanted to do. Then I formed a company in December of 2019.
Okay.
And from there, I knew the journey that I was on. I knew I wanted to plant a vineyard. So it was just like I had a vision of what I wanted to name the vineyard, and I knew it was going to be Franklin Vines. And so that's when I just ran out. I'm like, okay, I need to make sure it's available, and so filed the paperwork and formed a little company, and because I've always envisioned like big FV, and when you're riding up, and so yeah, I formed that in December of 2019.
Wonderful. And
Yeah.
then you had this opportunity.
Yeah.
So once you left, you started doing marketing.
Mm-hmm.
What then what further moved you into, like, are you looking for a location now for Franklin Vines?
So yes, so I was already actually looking for a location, and I was thinking about it, and then I was already like going to work on it. So my family has some land out in East Texas area,
Okay.
and I was thinking about doing it there because it has a lot of history. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, this would be great, to kind of keep it in the family, and, and because of the history and everything, I thought it would be a great idea. But in the beginning, and I need to give my cousin a shout out, Kevin. He was the one to really plant that idea in my head.
Okay.
He was like, well, why don't you do it, out in East Texas, and I'm like, there's nothing out there. Like, no, nobody's like, I was like, I couldn't see the vision at that time
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
until like almost 6 to 8 months later. And I started really thinking about it. And I'm like, it would be cool to do it out there. And
Okay.
I could create some jobs, and, and
Mm-hmm.
train someone to learn along with me as I'm learning, and bring something new in the area. So yeah, so it's a process, and I'm still working on it.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that I gotta make sure that everything is clear, and
Right.
a lot of talks, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of talks with my uncle, because he has the land that I want to
Okay.
use. So if you're on, I love you. But yeah, so it's I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
is Texas, like, I think when I think of Texas, and I apologize for stereotyping, but I think of really flat land. Are there a lot of elevations in that grape country, in that wine region area?
So when you so in the area that I'm speaking of, no.
Mm-hmm.
So that's flat land, but I can
Okay.
grow grapes in that particular area. But obviously, where grapes can thrive and everything is going to be in the Texas Hill Country and Texas High Plains. So those are the you know the most known areas where you grow grapes.
Okay.
And one day I hope to have a vineyard in that area.
Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. I think we lost Stephanie for a second.
I am here. Okay.
Okay, great.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I say? It's live. Anything can happen. It wouldn't be live if anything didn't happen. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Oh, okay. So that's good to know. I was always wondering that,
Mhm.
like, how robust and elevations in that area, because that would attribute to the different types of varietals that you're
Yeah.
able to grow
Yeah, for sure. For
in
sure.
that particular area. So do you have, in the meantime, will you purchase the juices, purchase the grapes, and start making ahead of actually planting grapevines?
Yeah. So in the meantime, my plans are because Benny Branch Winery is also a custom crush.
Okay.
So I would have them produce my first couple of wines. And so that's going to be actually the next step. And I'm excited. I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want to make first. And I know I want it to be a red wine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's scary because all of this is new. Like it's a whole new territory for me.
Right,
Um,
right.
I have these whispers over here in my ear. Stephanie, you should go back to the corporate world. That's what you know. And then over here, and over here, I'm like, but this is my passion, and I'm actually working in the field now.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
although it's scary and overwhelming and a lot of things to tackle and not knowing what's ahead, it is scary, but it's exciting. And I think I would rather leave this earth going after something that I truly love versus being stuck in a job where it's just a job.
Yes. Because that's not really living. That's just
It's
existing.
not, it's not, but I'm also not in my 20s anymore. And I feel like I don't have time on my side. So it's like, I need to get it going.
Well, okay. So I'm going to kind of quote somebody
Okay.
who
Okay.
I'm not necessarily a big fan of, but I think she made a really good point, and that's J-Lo.
Okay.
And she talked about how games are won and lost in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And that's really that's like your big push. So there is excellent to accomplish stuff when you're younger.
Yeah.
But that last quarter in your life or what have you, that's really where you make your mark and your stride and to feel more comfortable. So go for it, girl. That's
Thank you.
That's
Thank
where
you.
you are winning.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've been, I don't know. It's like this feeling is like, I can't believe like the things that I've done so far, like in such a short amount of time. And I know I'm going to run into bumps in the road. I know there are going to be challenges that are coming, and I just got to tackle them one glass at a time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Shoot, that's what life is meant to do, is to live, right?
Yeah. You're
Just
right.
live it. And your inner voice will tell you, you're not the fear, but the true inner voice will say, this is secure. This is safe. I got you.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
I definitely got. So I love some of the pictures that you sent over or what have you. What is your favorite wine?
My favorite wine. Can I say my favorite grape varietal?
Yes. Yes.
I don't have a favorite wine. There are too many favorite wines. Okay, so what I'm gonna say the favorite wine of that I'm drinking now would be the Benny Branch Tannat.
Okay.
Yeah. And funny story, I had never tasted Tannat until I went to Benny Branch.
I swear I love it.
Yeah. And then I started tasting other Tannats or whatever. Like I think it's I can't remember what
is it. Ink Block? Have you had that one?
I haven't. No.
It looks like I forget what that psychology thing is, where it's the ink blocks, but that's what it looks like, and it's kind of appropriate because it's so dark and inky or what have you, and it stains. So it's called it's made by, I think, Michael David.
Okay.
But that's a good one, and it's also and that grape is known a lot in South America. So like that's a big in Lodi, California. That is a big one there.
And I'm also a fan of Malbec.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good grape.
Yeah, that's another big South American grape that is truly delicious.
Argentina is on my list. on my list of places to
Yes.
go. Yeah, there are so many other wine regions I would love to go and explore. So
Yes. Yes. So I like to just, round out with a little game
okay.
at the end. And since we are embarking on the 4th of July Independence Day weekend, people are going to have those backyard barbecues, fireworks, pool parties, or what have you. So I'm going to throw out a couple food items,
Okay.
and you tell me what you would pair with those items.
Okay. Oh boy.
Baked beans.
Yikes. I don't know that I've paired anything with baked beans. So I'm thinking about how we make our beans with a little brown sugar,
Yes.
onions, a little green peppers, some red peppers, some Creole. Man, I think a nice Riesling would probably go with my baked beans. At least that's what I'm envisioning right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Especially when you talk about that brown sugar in there.
Yeah.
And a little barbecue sauce in there. Definitely. I'm all about the Riesling.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Texas barbecue. Do you smoke your barbecue, or is it more grilled?
Smoke.
Smoke. Okay.
I think. Yeah, smoke.
Okay.
I'm thinking about what my dad does.
Okay. I understand. What about brisket?
Oh, brisket. Okay, so my dad is the king of brisket. So
Okay.
So let's see. I'm thinking about the spices and I think maybe I could go with the gamay, or I can go with the Beaujolais. Yeah. What
Okay.
about you? Well, what about?
I am not a big brisket person.
Okay.
But because that char on the outside of the brisket, I would go with a Grenache.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's
a good one. Yeah.
To go with that. I do like that char.
Yeah.
On the outside of the brisket.
That sounds really good.
Okay, so what about good old-fashioned potato salad? And do you do the red potatoes? Do you
like the Rosette?
Yes.
Yeah. So our potato salad, mustard, mayo, onion, green pepper, seasonings. Gosh, and I've never paired anything with the potato salad, and now I'm gonna have to this weekend because of this question.
And no eggs.
I don't know what I would pair with the potato salad.
Okay.
I have no idea what I would pair with potato salad. I don't know.
Oh, do you put eggs in your potato salad?
Yes, but
or just the yolks? Just the whites. Just the whites.
If people are making potato salad and they know I'm around, they take some out because I can't digest eggs anymore.
Oh, okay.
It sucks getting older.
Yeah, I think I would have like an Albarino or a Grenache Blanc if it was just the potato salad.
Okay.
If it was just the potato salad.
And I think I'm struggling with that one because I don't know that I want to drink anything with my potato salad while I'm eating it. But anyway. Just me.
Okay. So always old-fashioned hot dog. And that's the only way I can eat hot dogs are grilled.
Okay, I think you got stuck again.
Oh, here we go.
I can see
Can
you
you hear me
now.
now?
I can hear you.
Okay. A good old-fashioned grilled hot dog.
And I don't eat hot dogs. I don't eat hot dogs anymore, but if someone were to ask me that question, a red wine for sure. I think I'm trying to think of a light wine, a red wine. A Merlot would go pretty good
Yeah,
with
you
it
could do,
all.
especially it's smoky and it's been on the grill, so that would go really well with it.
Repeat that. I'm sorry.
I said it's been on the grill. It would go really well with that.
Yeah.
So if somebody, where's the best place for someone to find Texas wine? Like if they, they've been inspired, and where we are located, it's probably not easily accessible. How would one go about like Googling and looking for great Texas wine?
So one of the best ways that I can say would be to look up Texas fine wine. So Texas fine wine, it's like wineries that pull together and they support each other. So for me, I feel like Texas is such a, like, we are family, and so some of the leading wineries are within the Texas fine wine group. So you type in that and you are for sure to find some great wine.
Excellent.
Or reach out to me and I will lead you in the right direction.
Well, you know what? That is a perfect segue. Yeah. How would they find you?
Well, they can find me on Facebook. I'm just under Stephanie Franklin, and you'll probably see me because I have like this wine bottle over half of my face. You can also find me on Instagram. I am Franklin_Vines on Instagram. That's where I do the majority of all of my wine postings and anything and everything that you could want to know about me and wine and all of my internships and whatnot. And then I'm also on LinkedIn as well under Stephanie Franklin.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. And so what can we expect from you in the upcoming year?
Well, it's so hard because when you put it out there, it's like you said it, you got to do it, you got to get on it. So I hope to have started the process of my first 2 wines. I hope to, before the end of the year, I hope to have had conversations and made a plan to develop my first 2 wines.
Okay. Excellent.
So I need all of the good vibes and prayers and support.
We will keep you prayed up. So the one thing though, I mean, not in exchange for prayers, because we'll just pray for you regardless.
Yeah.
But when your first wine comes out, you have to come back and tell us about it so we can taste through it.
Absolutely. I would love to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Wine Lovers Wednesday. And I wish you all of the best. And you have been delightful. I love your story. And I just can't wait to see more from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And I just want to remind you, if you haven't been following us, we have our the Wine Concierge has its top 20 wine recommendations, and we also have our summer wine sale going on. So go and check us out at thewineconcierge.co and get some of those great summer wines, because it is hot out there. It is hot, and you want something really refreshing through this time. So I will chat with you soon, and happy Wine Wednesday to you. Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.